Well, joining us now are Father Jim and Kim. Father Jim is the pastor of St. Joseph in Maplewood, New Jersey, and Kim is a parishioner there, but she's also a speech language pathologist who helped design a sensory-friendly room for neurodiverse kids and adults at the parish. Guys, thanks so much for being with us today. How you doing?
Good.
Very
Thank you so
good.
much for having us.
Thank you.
So, Kim, we're going to start with you. For those who might not be familiar with the term neurodiverse, can you explain what that means?
Absolutely. So, neurodiversity is the understanding that all of us have different types of brains and bodies, and the ways that our brains and bodies work are not the same. And that difference is not a bad thing, right? Just like we know to celebrate racial diversity and diversity of many different types, neurodiversity, this understanding that there are different brains is a wonderful thing and something to be celebrated. Unfortunately, a lot of times our communities, society is built on one type of brain and one type of body. So some of the work that we do with my nonprofit, Together We Bloom, and the whole idea behind this sensory space is to make the community more accessible to a wider variety of neurodiverse individuals. So especially focusing on neurodivergent folks, kids and adults.
Hey, Father Jim Worth, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Bishop?
I'm great. I'm great. You and I are both pastors of parishes, so I want to learn from you because I always want to learn new stuff. Why was it was important for you to create a room where neurodiverse people can go if they feel somewhat, I guess, overstimulated during Mass? I'm really curious to know because I understand the situation, having celebrated Mass many times.
Well, I have a personal interest. My nephew is on the spectrum, and he just graduated from Westchester University with honors. So it's something near and dear to my heart. But in our parish, we have several young adults when I got here that are on the spectrum. One is somewhat nonverbal, Ben, and his mother and grandmother, and they're icons at the church. They come every week at the 9. The parish just embraced them. And as time went on, the community was great, but I thought maybe there's a better way that we can help others who we don't know about. So Kim had a Zoom meeting for the community. She runs a nonprofit, Together We Bloom, and she talked about sensory rooms. And I said, wait a second. We have a bunch of rooms in the church that are just storage. I'm sure you know, Bishop, that once you throw something in there, it becomes a closet and you can never use it again.
Yeah, even the confessionals.
Well, that's what it is. We had 5 confessionals, so we didn't need all 5 of them. So we turned one in with the help of Kim, her husband, and some volunteers, and we decided, let's make a sensory room. And it wasn't that terribly expensive, and we got support from the community. Then we basically blessed it during the Advent season, and now it's open not just to our parishioners, those known to us, but there's plenty that probably weren't coming because overstimulation is awkward for families and those who are aware and unaware. So we also welcome community people that are walking in the neighborhood. Our church is open. So the room now is becoming well known so people can come in and take a break from the stimulation that can be sometimes overwhelming.
That's brilliant.
I have to tell you, Kim, I love this idea because as a father, when my kids were young, to keep them still was almost impossible. They were everywhere. We'd have to chase them up the aisle at points. So it was crazy. So what are some of the features of the sensory-friendly room, Kim?
Yeah, great question. And I have to say, I have 2 young children, a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. So yes, that is the life that I live right now.
Yeah.
Running up and down the aisles. And yeah, I mean, I want to say that I think St. Joseph's in general is a place that is inclusive and welcoming for all people generally, right? And so there isn't this sense of being uncomfortable when my kids are running up and down the aisles. I'm exhausted, but you don't get the stares that you might get in other places. But a sensory-friendly quiet space kind of goes beyond just saying, yeah, if you need to move, that's fine, which is a big part of St. Joe's. But there are a variety of supports in the room, and the design of the room itself is based around supporting self-regulation. which is the idea all of us have to self-regulate and are constantly self-regulating, and it's making our energy match the energy and experience of the situation. And so for a lot of neurodivergent children and adults, crowds, sounds, music, lights, a lot of the things that we see at a busy mass or a church event can be really overwhelming and overstimulating. And for some folks, it's like, oh, it's not my thing, or oh, it's uncomfortable and I can tolerate it. But for so many people, it can really lead to not coming at all, or not feeling like, well, most of the time I'm okay, but sometimes I need a place to go where I can really be in quiet. And so folks don't come, because if that happens and there's a meltdown, or their child is having a really rough time, in most parishes there's not a place to go, or if that happens they would just leave the mass. And so this room is really designed to be a space where folks can go to self-regulate, to calm. All of the features are designed with the neurodivergent experience in mind. The space was designed and created by one of our board members who is an autistic and ADHD adult, and somebody who benefits from these rooms all the time, both for herself as an adult and for her child who's also neurodivergent. And so it's an incredibly calming space, from the dark blue monochromatic walls. There's a rocking chair glider, there's a bean bag, there's a weighted lap blanket, there's ear defender headphones, so all sorts of tools that folks can use to help kind of calm their bodies.
Hey, Father Jim, if someone is watching, like myself, and would like to perhaps pursue a room like this at their own parish, can they reach out to you at St. Joseph's?
Absolutely. We'd love that, because this is all a trial and error experience, and I'm just blessed that Kim is a part of it. But we have learned what's good and what's bad, and it's amazing because I have seen, as people get more comfortable, more of those parents that weren't coming with their children are here. And in the back of our church, we have a library and a little tiny table and chairs. I love noise in church because that means kids are there. And it's so critical that they're there. And our people, we don't believe in crying rooms. Everyone should worship together. And we all have levels of ability. So I would say this is really high on the list of things to do. We want to have everyone feel welcome, but not just welcome, included. No one wants to feel that they have to go off somewhere because they're not behaving right. So, hey, listen, as an adult, sometimes I need that sensory room just to get away for a few minutes, and it's just great. So I believe that if they want to come to Kim or I via email, we're more than happy to help them set it up. I don't want to say it was super easy, but it was far from difficult.
Well,
And it's very doable. We got things from local place, Amazon, and you get volunteers, and people came that we didn't necessarily, or at least I know, and they came forward to me and said, they cried. They said, thank God I can come back to church with my child. That's what every pastor wants to hear. Right, Bishop?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. I have to tell you, I saw pictures of the room. I'd never leave. You'd have to try to kick me out.
It's like a man cave.
Thanks a lot, and thank you for all you do, and have a wonderful day.